Because I see a need for women to be extra represented, to be extra put forward. Because so many times, especially in hip hop, we are pushed down and
Hey, what up, though? It's Leon. Welcome to the Dope Friendz podcast. And today, I'm being joined by the hella dope friend, Breathless. Hey. How you doing today, Breathless?
I'm Fabo. How you doing?
I'm good. It's a special day for you today, right?
It's a hella special. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
now that you mention it. Yes, it is. It really is. No, my album. It dropped finally today. Like, I feel like it's been forever.
Right.
Now
I don't know when this podcast is going to drop, but today, at the time that we're recording this, it's September 14th,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's the day of Lovelution.
Yeah, that is it. Lovelution dropped today, and, like, I'm feeling all the love. It's pretty good. Like, first, I woke up, and I got a Snapchat from somebody, like, who was, like, downloaded, rocking to one of the songs. Like, I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It's a beautiful album.
Man,
like, I was lucky enough to listen to it. Well, not the album itself, but listen to you perform a lot of it during the listening party just a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful album.
Thank you.
Is there like a reason why for today that it should come out, or like, or something about Virgo season?
Nah, nothing to do with Virgo season. It just kind of I wanted it to come out on my birthday, which was August 20th, but that, like, I need a little bit more time to, like, put some things in order. Plus, I had, like, Oakland Pride main stage this past Sunday.
Congratulations,
and I kind of wanted,
that.
Thank you, that was rock.
That's
so
awesome.
I wanted that to kind of, like, be, like, boom, and then, like, boom, the album drops. So, like, kind of like a little promo kick, that's all.
So you wanted it during Leo season, but you had to get your logistics together. And so it worked out because that's like a Virgo thing, right?
It is. And the thing about that is I'm actually on the cusp. So I'm a Leo Virgo cusp. So it's all still good.
That's good.
Yes.
That means you have that fire, but you also have that side of you that's like, well, actually, let me think this through. And have a good plan for some, right?
Right. A super, like, over analytical plan. Yes, I hella Virgo, like, side of me for real. And that's part of why I got pushed back, I think.
Was that part of the process for the creation of the album?
Totally a part of the process.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that whole Leo Virgo thing is like a inner battle. Like, you could kind of hear it in the album, even just lyrically. Like, it's like this inner battle, always almost at war, like, with myself. It's crazy.
But that's funny. But the album concept is Lovelution.
I
right?
know.
So what was the idea behind that? Like, that phrase, Lovelution? Did you coin that phrase? Did you hear that phrase somewhere? Or?
I didn't hear it before, but I'm sure it probably existed before I thought of it. But for me, it started out being like Lovelution was like love plus revolution. So I was feeling like you need to love in a revolutionary way, right? Really hard, no matter what, through all of, that's what I was going through, And like, while writing the album and going through a bunch of stuff while writing the album, it ended up being love plus evolution, like loving your evolution and who that person is, all the stuff that you go through, like, to get to the point that you are. So, like, it was revolution and evolution, like revolutionarily loving your evolution. You know what I'm saying? Like, hella crazy.
Is there a difference between that, I guess? Like, when you started the album, I guess, with this idea of love plus revolution plus to now love and evolution, I guess, what is the difference exactly?
For me, it's more of an inner focus. You know what I'm saying? It started out kind of being, we got to love each other in a revolutionary way. And then in the end, it's like, no, you got to start loving yourself hella hard first. And that's going to emit to everybody else. So, like, yeah, it kind of changed. It's the same thing because we are all one, right? That's a whole nother conversation. But, like, yeah, it kind of turned it inward, and it's like the only way I can even go out there to try to love on other people is if I got enough love right here to like overflow on you mofos, you know.
I always say the same thing, especially like, I don't know if you mean love like, you know, in terms of like a relationship with somebody or whatever, but I always think like, I always see a lot of relationships where it's like folks are really like dependent upon each other, and it doesn't really feel like love, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like it feels maybe more like convenience or just like dependency or something like that. And I always think that, you know, in order for you to truly be able to love somebody, you have to kind of look within first. And even though it's like it may sound good and great and it makes for great memes and stuff like that to talk about that, what do you think that really like, what does it take to love yourself?
Ooh wee. So the thing about that it takes courage, man. It takes like you to be able to look at yourself in a way that doesn't have rose-colored glasses. You know what I mean? Like you need to be able to be real with yourself in every facet, not just all the wonderful things about you, but like all the shit that you know you need to like you man up about. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. That's what really it is. It's about taking care of yourself. You know, checking in with yourself, things like that. And it's not an easy process, but like you just have to start with like being aware with how you feel, what your energy is like at that particular moment in time, and like address that.
And I think for me that like that's always been like part of the reason why hip hop is such like an important part of my life, because I feel like the act of creating art it takes a lot of introspection, right? It takes a lot of like kind of grappling with oneself, and I think of that as a form of self-love practice, right? Do you think that was part of the process for some of your songs, or like your whole album, all of your songs?
Right, yeah, totally, because I mean songs are my form of expression, so my whole soul got poured out. You know what I mean? And it just happened to come out on some dope beats, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it happened. But yeah, totally, that just pouring out the things that I'm feeling, and especially for me, like we said, being a Leo, you know, Leos are not one to be like, here's how I feel, let me just tell you real openly, no problem.
Well, neither are Virgos, right?
No, not really. So it's like, you know, that's been a process too, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool to be able to like be vulnerable in front of people and be like, hey, I found some kind of way in all of this, whatever emotion that could be good or bad, or, you know, however it feels, I found a way to like find me and like still love me and like be able to love other people, not just relationship wise, but like, you know, friend wise, like people wise, you know what I'm saying? Like I love you, man, like, cause you my tribe, you know what I'm saying? So like that's what it is. And like we said, you can't do that unless you got something going on here that you're feeling within yourself to be able to pass that out. Right.
But was there, I guess, did you have any difficulty with doing that? Because you're also a professional artist, right? So thinking about like, you know, producing songs that might be able to sell, or, you know what I mean, the professional side of the art, is there parts where sometimes, you know, you run into conflicts, or has people been really receptive to your vulnerability?
I've been lucky that people have been super receptive, but I've also been lucky in the fact that like I got to work with some incredible people. So I have some really incredible beats and some really great features and just some really dope work. At least I feel like, you know what I mean? So like I feel like I lucked out. And this whole process, the universe was like, yes, this is the one for you that's gonna catch people. I tried, because I understand, you know, people are not gonna always take message. I'm not trying to message you with stuff. I'm just trying to tell you, you know, what happened to me. Right. You know, like this what happened to me, and maybe you'll understand and maybe not, you know.
Right, because I think a lot of times people kind of get that misconception that quote unquote positive hip hop is something that has a very explicit message, right? Where, like, you know what I mean, there's a message in everything, right? Like, you know what I mean, and just even talking about something as like maybe abstract and not like pinned down as love, it's a message in itself, and it can be complicated, and sometimes it can be fiery, like, you know, in that Leo sense, right?
Totally.
So are there some favorite songs that you have on this album, or that you enjoyed working on, or, you know, that you enjoyed performing, or, you know, just whatever?
Yeah. Wow. Yes, there are some standouts for me. Man, I really love Tribe. I got to work with Aruka Saki on that one, and that's so much fun to do live because it's just a really hype song, and just the meaning behind it is so community based, and people really feel it. So that was really fun, super fun. I love that song. The other song that I talk about is the song that I got my dad to sing on, which I wrote about my parents. That's particularly special because I got to work with my dad, you know, like, and I'm a daddy's girl, so it's kind of like, ooh. But also, I wrote about my parents, and I got to play it for my mom like a week before she passed, and so like it's a super special song, and that because I know that she got to hear it, and like it's gonna live on forever, you know, just like her spirit will. So that's like extra dope for me.
What's it like performing that song for people? Is it difficult?
Oh, yeah. Like, I've only performed it once at my listening party at this point. And even every time in rehearsal, like, I hella cry when I hear that song or even try to get through it. I don't know if that'll ever change.
Right.
But
It's a very powerful song.
Thanks, man.
Can we, like, pipe that in later on and maybe play some of that for the folks?
Totally. I got you. Yes. And the cool thing I found out today is that the whole album, like, if you go on IG Music, you can, like, look it up and, like, add it to your IG story. Like,
nice.
It's so dope. I was doing that today. Like, I'm telling you, it's freaking awesome.
That's dope. Is it because you went through, like, a distributor that was able to put it on right away, or?
I mean, I don't know. I know that's one of their aggregates, so I can tell you that much. But probably, yeah. I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So those are your two favorites?
I would say those are definitely standouts for me. There's lots of other songs that are like woo, like really meant some stuff. I got to work with DJ Static, who's done stuff with Immortal Technique and like KRS-One. You know, he's produced for some dope people, and that track is like banging. Man, I got to work with a dope singer, a song called Hold On, which is like an actual love song kind of sorts. There's so many freaking songs I love. Oh, and MC Infinite, like he did all these interludes with me. Oh, beatboxed his ass off. It's so dope. I hope I can cuss a little bit.
No, you can.
But like, yo.
Fuck yeah, you can cuss.
Okay, perfect. But he's amazing. Like he nailed everything, man. Just everything is. I'm excited. Seriously, it was all hella dope.
And it took a while to put this whole project together, right? Because I remember you were talking about this for a little while. You know what I mean? The Amelia Earhart song. It was the video was out like was it like a year ago?
About a year ago. Yeah, I dropped it a year ago. I wanted to come out like a long time ago, but like again, trying to get the artwork together and trying to get the marketing plan together, and just it was all just like the Leo in me wanted to drop it. You know what I mean? But the Virgo in me was like, nah, dog, you need to get your ducks in a row. Like, let's get some things in order. And now I got some things in order. So now we're like, now the Leo's like, can we go? So we're ready.
Do you think it was just better that way, that you waited and things like that to kind of polish everything, get everything together?
Totally. Yeah. I think, you can jump off any freaking building and still land okay, but like if you got a plan to jump off that building, then your land might be a little better, right? You know what I mean? It might be a little softer, might be you might land in a spot where your freaking feet don't hurt, that's all.
Because it's not like people don't know you, right? Because you have a catalog, right? You've been doing music for a good amount of time, right? I
got some music, but like I feel like there's so many people who don't know me. Like they have no idea who Breathless is, and like it's my job to spread that to every household in the whole united world. Like United World, do you like that?
Yeah. So I guess what do you want people to know about you, about Breathless?
Wow. That's a good question. That's so.
Because I mean, like to want to be spread apart. You know what I mean? What is it that you hope to, I guess, circulate? You want to take everybody's breath away.
Lyrically, yes, totally. But I feel like for me, my whole purpose is to just kind of show you that I'm one person who has not always had a easy, soft journey, and like emotions are real, and shoot, I'm super hip hop. You know what I mean? And I hope that all that you see is that, if one person can do it, like you can too. That's all. Like
dope.
Just like take a journey with me, man.
So maybe we could talk about your journey a little bit. How did you find hip hop? Right?
Oh my God. Hip hop for me, it started out like poetry, right? I started writing poetry, and I was like, oh, this is super dope. And then I started listening to Public Enemy. Like, I'm hella date myself right now, but like Public Enemy, freaking MC Light. I started losing my mind. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is super dope. And I started like changing the poetry into music, and I met up with this producer, and it was kind of over ever since then. I was like, oh God, I can get my own beats to like spit on and write my own stuff. It was over. It was over.
Do you remember how old you were when you first started?
Oh my God, maybe like 19 probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I was forever, many years ago. But I was, yeah, definitely young, college age kid, like discovering hip hop and like really falling in love. And like, I don't think, like, we got married. Me and hip hop got married a long time ago. Like a long time ago, for real. Yes.
That's cool. So that you, I mean, because the hip hop is usually very like male dominated, right? Did you find that you ever had like the struggle to navigate these spaces, or was hip hop always very welcoming, or
Yes and yes, right?
Yeah.
That's a double yes question. Yes, it's always been male dominated, and it's always been difficult for me to push my way into spaces, and lots of times I wasn't even invited, you know what I mean? Because they just don't or didn't think about putting women there. I mean, it's lots of times we could talk about that, you know what I mean? But you kind of have to push your way. I'm sure all of the, or most of the females would understand that part. It's just not a space that's like that welcoming, even in the quote unquote woke world. There's still that whole slight misogynistic sense. That's hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And I know that walking into this world, I just try to represent my femininity or my lyricism, however that freaking comes out. If I'm spitting about femininity, or if I'm spitting about freaking a vocabulary that is like insane, that's about to like 187 you, either way, like I'm coming for you, like that's it, you know what I mean?
Because hip hop is inherently kind of like about that taking back space, but because I think a lot of times, because it is male dominated, it's a lot of times like dudes be taking a lot of space, right? Be taking the whole floor sometimes. Yeah. And I be feeling that sometimes in those quote unquote woke spaces too, where it's like everybody is trying to like talk over each other. So I'm like, let me just sit back. So I could only imagine, what it could be like for like somebody that doesn't appear like masculine, right? So,
right, and especially you're small, usually smaller than most people. So like, how you gonna get in the cipher? Like, how you gonna push your way through unless you like literally push your way through and like get a little extra loud, and then you got to deal with some of the same lines that I'm sure like most battling females have heard. Like, you get called bitch like a million times. That's the lamest line. Please don't ever try to battle a chick and say that. Like, that's not even thinking. Like, you know what I mean?
I always get
like,
the I'm Asian, so I eat dogs or cat lines, right?
Okay, like, come on,
it's
guys.
like the same old.
Come on.
I mean, it's the coldest part is that people laugh at it, right? It's like, man, that's old, that's corny. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least come with something clever, I think. You know what I mean?
You're not even thinking. Come on now.
But so time out though. That means you used to battle rap.
I mean, for fun, like for fun. I am nowhere by any means like the illest battle rapper on the planet, but I do like to, because you gotta like sharpen your skills. Like, like I said, I'm hip hop, so that's a part of my culture growing up. You know what I mean? That's a piece of me. So I'm definitely gonna be freestyling on fools, but like, don't expect to walk up on me and be like, I'm gonna kill you. You might, but I'm still gonna like rip some things,
But you might got some rebuttals in your head because you already heard those lines before.
I got some things. Don't even worry. I got things for you.
That's dope. So then I guess what keeps you motivated? What keeps you in love with hip hop then? You know what I mean? Having to go through these, different trials and tribulations, like even within hip hop, right? So what keeps you motivated?
I feel like because the energy of hip hop is so strong in and of itself, and the fact that hip hop really is feminine. Like, you know what I mean? Like the song I Used to Love Her, like hip hop is always described as a woman. So like for me, the energy that hip hop still holds, especially with some, not every artist is holding hip hop to its truest, fulfillment, but like there's lots of artists that are hella hip hop out here right now. whether they're major or not, you know what I mean? So like the energy is still hella alive.
Mm-hmm.
There's still hella lyricists out there. There's still hella b-boys and girls, like tag, like, you know, aerosol artists. Let me get the terminology right, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's a new day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's still very much alive. And so I think that's, for me, the illest thing. And that's what keeps it going. That's what keeps me inspired. And, you know, new hip-hop, a lot of people may not like it or whatever. I appreciate the creativity in all freaking music, you know? You don't have to be boom bapping for me to, like, feel like you're a piece of hip-hop, but, like, you know, can I feel your soul? Can I feel your, you know what I mean? Do I feel your energy? Like, is it that kind of thing? Then that's good music, you know what I mean?
Because I always think about hip-hop as it's a culture. It's not just a genre of music. A lot of times people only refer to hip-hop like as rap or something like that. And when you only refer it to as rap, you're probably only thinking about dudes, right? You're only thinking about, like, really masculine, you know what I mean, machismo dudes.
Right.
But, like any movement, like any culture, like, those are just probably like the poster people, you know, the poster boys, right? It takes a lot of different, it takes a whole tribe to keep the culture going. And it's, you know, a huge chunk of that, if not most of it, is feminine. I would agree. But I guess could you define hip hop? Like, what does hip hop mean to you?
Oh my God, that is, wow.
And with these heavy hitters today.
Right? They're super good too, though. I mean, for me, it's like basics: peace, love, unity, and having fun. Like, for real. Like, that is what hip hop is about. It's about support. It's about community. It's about, you know, loving, like I said, yourself and others. That's what hip hop was built on. And so for me, that's what it is. Peace, love, unity, and having fun. Like, the freaking 5 elements, definitely incorporated. Obviously, and I'm with you, it's a culture. It's not a genre. It's not something that you see on the charts. It's a movement. It's a feeling. It's a vibe. It's a way of life. You know, I know people whose lives are hip hop. Like, that's how you live. Like, you know what I mean? I got a job, but I work in hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, it's hip hop all freaking day long. So
I think of hip hop as kind of like a framework, right? It's like a way of seeing the world, and it's also kind of like a secret but not so secret society, where, like, people will welcome you in just because you identify as hip hop.
Totally.
And that's one of the, like, my favorite things about the Bay Area, especially because the Bay Area is hella hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I go to school in San Diego, and I can't say the same for out there. There's definitely people that enjoy hip hop that you know what I mean, like that participate in hip hop culture, but I wouldn't say that it's a pervasive culture like in the Bay Area, right?
I didn't know that.
Was it like that for you growing up? Because I know you're not from the Bay, right? Where are you from again?
No, I moved here from Nebraska.
Right?
Yeah. I was in Nebraska since I was 4. My dad was in the military. I was born in Japan, then New York, but I was been in Nebraska since I was little. So that's where I moved here from.
Do you remember anything from Japan?
Not much, other than the smell of cherry blossoms.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
that's really
so, like,
cool.
if I smell them now, it takes me back to, like, being in the park with my dad. But that's really all I remember.
That's dope. You one of those people that can remember things through smells, huh?
That smell particularly, hell yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how that happens. Totally crazy.
That's cool. So you were born there because your pops was in the military, so your pops was stationed out there. Then he was stationed in Nebraska.
Yeah, he retired in Nebraska because they had a house, you know, and they decided to go back there. Blah blah blah. Right. So I was there forever, and crazily enough, the Midwest scene, the indie scene was huge. I toured the whole, like, I did 175 shows in the Midwest region for, like, in 1 year.
That's your Virgo side. You kept count.
Man, I did keep count. You're right, because I was on one like that. That was like a hell of a good year, and I was just out there, like, I was doing the Warped Tour. It was hella good. The scene is very supportive, very killer. I had one of my dopest shows in Manhattan, Kansas, at this little college town, like, hella packed, Cole College, super killer. So there's definitely a scene out there, and they definitely support, you know, good music, and people that are, like, you know, really out there trying to do some stuff. I was doing shows in malls, and, you know, I still, like, I like to do Oakland Book Festival, and, you know what I mean? Like, I like to do stuff like that because it's fun for me. So it was cool to, like, come from that really super supportive pond, but, like, I felt like I was doing the whole Midwest region, you know, and I'm like, I need a bigger pond. And so I came out here and like, I'm like, oh snap, I'm all of a sudden a little fish in a big ass pond and nobody knows me. Sweet. So like I took that and I'm running with it. I'm just trying to.
When did you come out here?
Like 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
6 or 7 years, and I've been, like, I started off, like, I hit up every freaking body who was doing any kind of hip-hop or music or something. I was like, yo, I'm new here, I don't know what you're doing, but, like, I'd love to connect. And, like, so many people were hella welcoming and, like, oh, you're a freaking female MC, dope. And so that's how I got to meet so many people. That's why I got my first show at ROTC, hooking up with Kevy Kev, you know what I mean? So it was so receptive. It was hella cool. It was hella cool.
Yeah, because then I feel like the scene here is different than what I've noticed in Southern California. But you know that's just my perspective. It seems like people are really just welcoming of anybody that's dope here, and it's not as like competitive. I mean, it's still competitive,
for sure,
but it's not like not everybody's trying to blow up. Some people are just legit like, I just want to rap. Like, just give me the mic, give me the spotlight. This is just my framework, my truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I feel like there's more of a space. I remember growing up, like my first element of hip hop, unless you count graffiti, because I was definitely like tagging and stuff like that. But like my first like I guess formal introduction to hip hop was through like an after school program in middle school, which was for b-boying. And I remember like just after taking that formal introduction, I was like, oh, man, actually, this is everywhere. You know what I mean? Everybody's dancing in the streets on Market Street back in the day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody be rapping on the streets and stuff like that. And if you got bars, like people, hey, come spit some.
Right.
So was that kind of like the vibes that you got when you first got out here too?
It was totally that way. You know what I mean? I got invited out to all kind of shows, come do these open mics, come rock, blah, blah, blah. And then like, as soon as they heard me, they were like, oh, snap. Like, yeah, come back again. So it was so good. I was very grateful just that people welcomed this little outsider, you know what I'm saying, who was spitting like different than the Bay, but like they were hella open. Just it was great. I'm hella grateful. It was cool.
How would you characterize it as different, like from the Bay, I guess?
I got a lot of people who say I have some kind of accent. Like, to me, I don't feel like I have an accent, but maybe I do. I don't know. Could be.
You got a style for sure.
It's something.
You got a signature style. Like when I hear you spit, I'm like, okay, that's Breathless.
Word.
But I wouldn't even like, unless you told me like explicitly that you weren't from the Bay, I would have guessed that you was from the Bay.
Oh, that's cool.
You know?
I like that. I like that. I hella like. I don't know how it works, but like I definitely rep. You know what I mean? Like I definitely rep the Bay as my home now. You know what I mean? Like I've been here for so long, and I feel like I'm a piece of Oakland right now. You know.
Was there a reason that you chose the Bay or Oakland specifically?
Oddly enough, my business partner is in LA, and I was supposed to move there, and I was gonna like move there, and then my spouse was gonna like we were gonna figure it out. Because we were going to move me out here first to like just do my thing. And then all of a sudden my spouse's job freaking offered something out in the Bay, and like 2 weeks later, boom, we were here. That's how quickly it happened. And I was hella happy because just, again, the vibe and the energy here, so many things are here. The Black Panthers, just the LGBTQ fight out here, like just so many freaking things that I'm like, no, this is where I belong. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so I feel like it all happened the way that it was supposed to, because I was supposed to be in LA, you know, like I was supposed to be in LA, and that's not what happened.
Because people say that about the Bay. It's like kind of like on the cutting edge of like art and activism, right? Do you think like your music or like some of the things that you do are in that intersection as well? Like, is your art a form of activism, or like how do you see that correlation?
For me, it's like Nina Simone said, you know what I mean? Your job as an artist is to talk about what's going on, and like there's so much going on. It's my job to talk about what I'm seeing, you know, whether it's my direct experience or something that I saw somebody else go through. Like, that's what I'm supposed to say. And I feel like some of that comes out in Lovelution, you know what I mean? Because love is not always rosy, you know what I mean? Like, love is not always easy. It's not always rosy. It's not always not painful. So, like, you gotta talk about all that stuff.
Right. Have you been on any tours, or are people receptive of your message in different places, or how do people receive it when you leave the Bay, or maybe go even like a couple of cities away from Oakland? It's a whole different world, right?
So far, so good, man.
Yeah.
I have a lot of energy during a performance, so that's the good thing about it is that I tend to like set the tone for people. But I did recently get asked to head to Berlin soon, so like I'm really like I've been talking about trying to get overseas, and now that's all finally kind of coming into place.
Is this your first overseas tour?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's what's up.
Yeah.
How did all that happen?
Just connections through people who are already booking things out there, and then I'm like ready now. You know what I mean? I got the album just dropped. I got some other things like ready to go in tow. My calendar is open enough now. You know what I'm saying? I don't have these big shows like lined up. Like it's ready. I'm ready to go.
That's dope. Do you have like a lot of followers out there, or is this something that you're just hoping to build, or is this?
I have no idea. I have no idea at this point. Well, I guess I could check. My numbers actually show that there are followers out there in Belgium and Norway and Germany right now, and some other places. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I just got people who know that people would love my stuff out there, and like I'm sure there's somebody out there who loves it.
Right.
But they will by the time I leave, for sure.
When are you going on this tour?
I'm hoping they talked about October, which is very soon. So I don't know. I don't know if we can do it that soon, but if we can, then I'm out. Let's go.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's dope. I guess how far have you toured so far just in the U.S.?
As Canada, basically. I've done pretty much
most. You went all the way to Canada?
Yeah, both sides of Canada too, actually. Vancouver and Toronto.
How was that?
It was cool. It was hella cool. It's kind of like here, only they're a little like they really get into music. They really do. At least in Toronto, they hella do. I was doing some shows out there, and it was pretty dope.
I feel like once you leave the U.S., people are like much more receptive to buying music and just listening to new music. At least that's my experience, right? Like over here, everybody is just kind of like, let me just see how many followers you have before I even listen to it.
Right.
Has that been the case for you, or have people been more welcoming and warm? Or do you think it's different when you leave the US?
It's definitely different when you leave the U.S., for sure. But, I mean, again, it just really kind of depends. Like, when I was there, I didn't have anything to sell them, but I do now. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different story. Right now, we'll see. We'll see what happens this time. Maybe we'll come back in 6 months, and I'll tell you what happened. Sales could be crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything special to prepare for this, or?
No, not really. Just trying to really practice with my dancers, get my DJ ready. Because I want to take pretty much everybody with me. Which is a lot of people. So we are just rehearsing consistently and trying to get ready to be prepared whenever. You know what I mean?
Who you bringing with you?
Well, I got DJ Lex.
Hey, shout out to DJ Lex.
Right. And then I have Hype, which is Brooklyn. And then I have 4 dancers, but I don't know who all, it kind of depends who all is. I'd like to take 2 of them at least with me, but we'll see.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was it like for you to I guess build your team out here? Like, did you always have like homies that dance and it just kind of worked out organically, or did you seek them out?
Yeah, it was just literally me like meeting, like I said, just hitting people up, meeting people, and then like people knowing people. So like I met most of those dancers shooting my Go Crazy video, which is on my last album. The guy who shot it was a dancer and a skater, and he knew a bunch of dancers, and those people knew dancers. So like those people all connected, and then most of them were in my next video. So I like to like when we get a rapport and we're like family and we work together, like I like to keep them going because they're also hella dope individuals.
Right.
So like I try to stick with the same people that I like rocked with me like since I first got here. But it's mostly because I know dope people who know dope people, which is cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why we're here, right? Just like why we're here, yo.
Yeah. I mean, that's always really cool because I always feel like when you have dancers, it's like you're taking your performance to like a whole different level. It's like, because I mean, like, it's just like, well, you don't expect that from like a rap set. You know what I mean? People have these kind of like associations or connotations of rap being just like, or somebody's can have a microphone and a DJ, or sometimes we're not even a DJ, it's just an iPhone or something like that, right? So when you like can bring out all the bells and whistles, right? Do you think that really like has a big fan reaction or audience reaction?
Oh, totally, man. I just did that for Pride because it was a big stage. So like I had the 4 dancers, I had DJ, I had Hype, I had a horn player.
Oh, dang!
It was great. It was And when the dancers came flying out, people were like, ah, you know, and cameras came flying out. You know what I mean? It definitely adds a new dynamic, you know. To
what was it like
presence.
playing for Oakland Pride? Because I know, like, you know, like the Bay Area is under a state of rapid gentrification. So I feel like San Francisco Pride it's like a tourist attraction. It's kind of manny, right? It's kind of like you know what I mean. It's kind of been ethnically cleansed in very many ways, right? What was it like for you in Oakland Pride, especially playing, you know, such a big part in Oakland Pride?
Wow. I've actually done San Francisco main stage too. Definitely very different vibes.
Well, let's talk about both of these.
Very different vibes, right? I did San Francisco first, but still very cool, you know. But very detailed, very, very non-POC crowd too. You know what I'm saying? But still mad cool, very supportive. Like it was dope. Oakland had a different kind of energy though, you know, like Oakland just has a different kind of energy. This is my second year doing main stage, but I got a different time slot this time and way more time. So it was hella dope. I was like almost right before the headliner, and it was hella cool because like people are just so receptive, you know what I mean? They're just like, what is going on right here? I don't really know who you are, but this is hella dope. And so like all these cameras fly up and like, you know, it's just being able to like pull that kind of energy and that kind of performance, and you know, it's just nice to like, I like to perform, and then I also love to do the whole theatrics, you know what I mean? I like putting on a whole show, and when like certain things happen at this certain time and like dancers are here now and they're not there, you know, like that's fun for me.
Right.
I dig that kind of thing. So Pride was awesome. They gave me a half an hour space to like play. You know, it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always feel like Oakland reminds me so much of what Frisco used to be like. You know? It's still Oakland. It's still different.
I hear that a
but
lot.
Then like a lot of the Frisco vibes are gone now, and I feel a lot of that here. You know what I mean? Like, cause I remember as a kid, there's always been a lot of white folks at Pride, right? But then there also were a lot of POC out there before too. Right. So it seems like that's like the space here now, right? People are holding their space a little bit more out here.
Yeah.
Would you think so? Or
that's exactly what I feel, at least. You know what I mean? People talk about crossing the bridge, you know, going the other way. Just that they don't. They try not to unless they have to, you know what I mean? Out here in the East Bay.
It's expensive.
It can be.
Hella traffic.
Hella can be, you know what I mean? I got love for San Francisco. Again, you know, I'm not from the Bay, so I feel like I'm allowed to love anything. But I know you got to pick one or the other.
Do you? I feel like I got love for both.
Do you?
I feel
okay,
like a lot of
good.
people do, but it's just hard to actually like physically get to across the bridge sometimes.
It really can be. It just takes a long time.
Yeah,
like, shit.
Yeah, and it costs money. Like
lots of money.
There's no way around it. It's gonna cost money to cross the bridge. Yeah,
it really does. You know, no matter how you cross that thing. Such is life, though, right?
Right.
If you want to get there, you'll get there. But I don't go unless I necessarily have to, or like going to support my peoples or something.
You go to ROTC, right? So,
I do. That's my peoples. That's my family. Yeah. And again, like I really, truly only support them because they were one of the first. Like that was my first show when I got here.
Right. And ROTC stands for Return of the Cipher for folks that aren't, they don't know about it. It doesn't stand for what you think it stands for.
Right. It's not the military thing. Although, you know, there are some warlike lyrics, like war vibes going on out there. It's dope. Like open mic cipher.
They really doing their things. You know, Jake Slice and Cash Show and all them folks, right? They really killing it.
Yeah, shout out to Kevy Kev. Like, you know, like I said, he was one of the first people that was like, yo, come through, come do your thing. And then freaking Boom Boom Room was like, yo, come do this show. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Now
you got to do it with the live band?
No,
they
the
have
first
a resident band there, right?
They do. On Sunday nights, and it's free. You better go. Like if you like to spit, go.
San Francisco and Fillmore, shout out, go check it out.
Boom Boom Room, it's the dopest thing. But
every
like
Sunday.
The first show I got to rock was actually Kevy Kev was DJing. It was at the Boom Boom Room, and Melina Jones was having like an all-female mistress of ceremonies, and so it was all female MCs. That's where I first met Hazel Rose and Coco Pela and freaking I don't remember who else was rocking that night other than Melina. As well, but it was It was so dope because for me it was awesome. Yeah, it was like when I first got here, here years ago. And that was when I first met all of them. And I was like, oh, look at all these women together, rocking their thing. Like, oh, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of really dope female MCs out here, or just not even like female, just like, you know, non-male MCs on the Bay. Like sometimes folks don't even know, but it's, you know, it's like one of those things that people don't do no more. It's like, you know, back in the day, people used to go to the music stores and dig for crates. Right? That's kind of what you have to do, because there's a lot of really dope artists out here.
Yeah. Oh.
Like what you saying earlier about being like kind of like the big fish in a small pond coming to like a way bigger pond. But it's cool because, in my experience, like, people have been really welcoming, and you know what I mean, and it sounds like your experience as well.
Hell yeah.
So what are some of the things that you that Breathless does for fun? You know what I mean?
Oh.
You kick it with the other MCs and not cypher sometimes, or?
Yeah, no, I love doing that, actually. Yeah. I feel like you have to do that sometimes. So like sometimes me and some of the girls will get together and we'll eat, because I love to eat. Like breaking bread with people is a serious thing for me. So like, if you come to the house, you know what I'm saying, maybe we'll barbecue, or we'll go to somebody else's house and they'll make freaking empanadas. Like, yo,
you got barbecue bars though from Nebraska, so you kind of have to, huh?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No.
You got some specialties?
No. Potato salad. I make the bomb ass potato salad, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And what else? I like being outside. I'm a nature girl, so I like to hike. I like to like sit at the lake and like chill and read and journal. You know what I mean?
You told me earlier you love coming out here to.
I do.
What is this called again? I mean, we're in Lake Merritt, but what is this garden called again?
The bonsai garden.
This is the bonsai garden.
It's called something, I'm sure. Maybe it's just the bonsai garden, but like, it's totally dope.
The hillside gardeners. I don't know. This is probably just people that fund. Like, you know, that I'm gonna pay for this little shout out right here, or something like that. Huh?
Right. Somebody gonna charge you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What you like about being outside? Like out here in these little urban oases, whatever the plural is for that.
Oases, something like that. Yeah. For me, I just like being able to like hear nature. Like if we're quiet, you can hear the birds, you can hear like the wind rustle through the trees, and like I feel like that is a grounding thing for me. Just to like be quiet sometimes and like let nature talk to me, and like I'm quiet. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you find the most clarity in silence.
Do you ever feel like there's a connection between nature and when you're out here with some of the things you do in life that includes hip hop? Or
always.
Yeah.
Always.
Come out here and write rhymes sometimes, or just like vibe out.
Totally. I've come out here before and like put some headphones on and like just sit and listen to the whole album. You know what I mean? And like marinate on that and like be thankful and grateful. Sometimes I'll just walk through and like smell the plants and touch the leaves and the little rocks with the water, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's kind of a grounding thing for me, just to like, we are all one. It's all the same air. It's all the same energy. And so like, if that's a breathing thing, then I'm connected to it. So sometimes it's just nice to reconnect to shit.
Right. Especially because, in my opinion, the Bay Area especially, space is hard to come by. Woo. So like, much less like nature. Like nature has to like kind of be in these kind of like man-made or like human-made pockets. Right. So it's like, that's why it's the urban oasis. Right. So I could hear the birds chirp and I could hear the wind, but I could also still hear like a bunch of cars and stuff.
Right.
And all these scooters now. All these damn scooters. Like, some people love, some people hate, some people love them sometimes but hate them, but won't let nobody know that they're riding them.
Right.
You know
Right.
Because in the woke spaces can be kind of critical out here. Like, oh, how dare you ride them scooters?
Right. How dare you ride the gentry scooters?
The gentry, is that what people call them?
The gentry scooters? The gentry bikes, the gentry scooters. Yes.
Yeah.
They got new nicknames.
That's what they're calling it. That's funny, because I have a song called Fries, and it's about gentry fries. So that's hilarious. I didn't know that was what it was called, but I know some people love them. But back to my point, though, I'm thinking like, when you come to these spaces, it's kind of like, it's a getaway without actually having to get away, right? Like, you know what I mean? Because these are the spaces that kind of are a contradiction, right? Like they kind of aren't meant to be here, but it's just like hip hop, right? Like
Yeah.
hip hop, it kind of like wasn't really supposed to be here, but it's gonna be here anyway, because like all this concrete is not natural, right? All this gravel is not natural. It's kind of like the colonizer or whoever the powers that be or whoever puts that over. Like, nah, we gonna put an office building here now.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like how hip hop is like, oh nah, we just not gonna give funding to, you know what I mean, to the hoods no more.
Right.
We gonna just take away all the, you know, music programs and all the things, because you know, y'all not making money, so whoop-de-whoop.
Right. We'll still want to eat off you though, like, you know, still shuck and jive for me real quick and make me an album real quick, but not gonna actually give your hood the money though.
Right. So that's why I feel like these kind of things are so interesting, right? Because it's so contradictory and it's so important to be out here. You know what I mean? Like, do you think? Because you say you come here often, right? Do you think this space in particular was like helped you think through any of your music or like any of your songs for this album?
I kind of found this space after the album was done. And I think for me, this space in particular is special because it's the bonsai garden. So like, I like to go into the little bonsai tree area, and for some reason, it gives me it kind of calms me a little bit. And I don't know if it's, I can't say it like reminds me of home or anything like that, you know what I mean? But there's something about being immersed in all of those little bonsais that like does something for me. It attracts me back all the time. Like, I've come here several times, you know, just to sit and chill. Like, for no reason. You know what I mean?
And you said you meditate, right?
Yeah.
Like, are there some, because I've never really, I mean, I'm trying to learn about this whole mindfulness thing and trying to learn about that. Like what is it that you do exactly?
Meditation varies, you know what I mean? And I like to do several different kinds for me. Like, it can be literally just sitting quietly, trying to quiet your mind. You can do guided meditation where you're listening to something and it'll tell you to think about certain things. You can concentrate on your breathing, you know? It's just kind of whatever it is that feels right to you at that particular moment in time. Like, sometimes I just need to shut up for a minute. And so sometimes I'll just sit and quietly, like, for a minute and a half, like, just concentrate on my breathing, because that will take my mind off of everything else that's going on and calm my whole energy down. That's what it is. So that's the reason why I freaking picked up meditation, is for like to save my damn self. you know, like, and everybody else, because I'm you know, again, the lion is beastie sometimes, and like, if I don't calm that beast, like,
I feel like that's you're speaking to my soul right now, just because like, I feel like the older that we all get, the more like, you know, responsibilities and things that kind of like settle in, and it's like my brain never shuts off, and I'm just like, yo, shut up, you know, let me just not be with you right now,
right,
brain, you know what I mean, let me just be with like my body or my, you know, my spirit or something like that. And that's why I want to get into this whole like mindfulness and meditation. That's why I watch like YouTube videos, because it's like it's easy to turn off. You know what I mean? Totally. To shut off my brain, you know what I mean? Do you think that you would have like, would you have like certain songs for that, or certain things that you would go to help you with that? TV shows, anything like that?
I mean, I sometimes like guided meditations, or like certain frequencies, or like intention ones. Like, so I like to listen to certain meditations sometimes that are like, I am whatever that description is. I am powerful. I am creative. I am whatever. You know, it goes through a whole bunch of different things that will kind of like ingrain in your head. So I like to do a lot of those, and a lot of like the love frequency, happy frequency kind of things that will give you tonality, because sound is huge. Sound is a huge energy shifter. So I like to do a lot of that. Right,
and it's just kind of like these moments of like self-empowerment, so that you can kind of learn to empower others as well. It kind of reminds me of one of your songs that you did, Black Girl Magic, because that hook is hella powerful. Can you do the hook real quick? Do you remember like the?
Ooh, you want the whole hook? Like, it's like.
Because I remember you said something like powerful, like, or just like the Instagram version where you put the lyrics up.
I met God, and she is black. And she told me that I am that, and we are seed from kingdoms back, and we got black girl magic.
Man, that was so powerful. I remember when you did that, a lot of folks double take like at the listening party, like, "Yo,
Yeah.
wait, what are the words again?"
Yeah,
'Cause
man.
that was powerful. How did you come up with that?
Because that's what I was taught. You know what I mean? Like, I was taught that we all, like, all, because we're all one being. Like, we all came from a powerful kind of femininely divine spirit, and it's melanated for me in the sense that, like, black incorporates everything. It's every color, it's every facet, it's every freaking thing. So, like, for me, when I say Black Girl Magic and that we came from, like, this really strong greatness, like kingdoms, like not just like people, not just ancestors, but like we are royal freaking powerful beings, and we don't even know it. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we got magic that we don't even know. That's really what it's about.
Right.
And that's what I was taught, you know. Like, when I learned that about, not like myself and like where we came from, that was amazing. And I just felt like it was necessary to celebrate.
You said that's what you were taught. Like, who taught you that? Because I feel like you don't learn that in schools. You learn the opposite in schools.
You don't learn that. But I happened to have a best friend in junior high school whose mom was like heavy into like, oh God, ancient history and Egyptian teachings, and just really delved way back into, not in the sense Christianity or religion, but like spirituality, and kind of spread all that stuff that she learned. And then I kind of got curious about it too. And the more that I'm like learning, I'm like, whoa, Egyptians, like, they had technology that we possibly don't even have yet. Like, what? Like, there's all these things that you freaking learn, and you're like, what? I didn't learn that in school. I learned that George Washington freaking was in his boat and freaking, you know what I mean? So,
like, the
like,
civilization happened when colonization happened. Right. That's the message you learn in school.
Right. Okay, colonizer. So, you know, I was lucky to be privy enough to have family friends who like taught something different. And as soon as I learned that, I like started soaking up every freaking thing. Like I said, in that same time, found out about Public Enemy, and it was over. Like, I'm wearing these little African medallions, yo. It was like serious. It was serious.
Because I feel like that is, in my opinion, such a universal truth. Just that hook, but it rubs people the wrong way sometimes, because it goes against so much what people learn. You know what I mean? In school, so much that was kind of based on these myths or just outright lies sometimes, right?
Totally.
To use to degrade or subordinate populations of, you know, specifically Black and Indigenous peoples and other folks of color later on. Right. But I mean, that's why I feel like that line is just like, I mean, that's the Lovelution right there. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. And yes, I'm happy that you see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what it's there for.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So we are getting close to the hour mark. Is there anything that you want to plug, or, you know, anything that you want to shout out?
Yo, I'm just happy to be here. Like, for real. I'm glad to like take space in a beautiful place with friggin' a beautiful being. So thank you for having me. The album is out today. Like, you can get it everywhere. You name it. iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, freaking Amazon, Tidal, name it. It's out there. You, like I said, IG, Flipagram, you, like, everywhere.
Dang.
Yes, I'm excited. So
that's what's up. Breathless for sure is gonna take your breath away with Lovelution.
Do that old school hip hop thing.
Yeah, this is why this is the dope friend, and for surely she doing dope things in the world, you know, for the world and in the world, and transcends the world. I appreciate you, Breathless.
Man, thank you.
Peace, love, unity, and have fun, y'all.
Later, yo.
Hey.